This music is like taking weed and Adderall at the same time. You ever played Peggle? Or if you're a gambler, Pachinko? It's fairly common now for indie games to have gameplay based on some sort of gambling activity. Balatro is the big one, but there's also a couple based around slot machines, a few coin flipper games, and related to this one, a Peggle roguelike. Sushi Cat isn't a roguelike, but it is proof that this type of thing has been happening for a while now. This is how new things are made. A bunch of loose concepts are squashed together and something different comes out. This is mainly a physics puzzle game. The baseline is a pachinko machine with power-ups, and the aesthetics of the game can be described as cute and proudly but only slightly weird. Like, the game is the type of person to dip fries in peanut butter but only like once a month. Recently, like some months ago, the Legacy Collection came out on Steam and Armor Games gave me a copy. Nothing else was exchanged, and this was some time ago. Sorry, it's been a while since a long form video, stuff happened, look at this cat. Each level has sushi scattered about. We're trying to get as many of them as possible within a certain number of drops. Barring a few levels, it's impossible for us to get everything in most stages, so don't bother. You only need enough to fill up this long cat meter thing, and your score gets a 10 times multiplier. There's also a smaller bonus attached to how much sushi the cat can eat in one drop. The more the cat eats, the fatter he'll get, making it easier to grab more food, but you also might get stuck on a peg and forced to walk on a water treadmill. The fattening won't come into play much in this game, but it is a fairly consistent mechanic across all of them. Being a Peggle-like, there's going to be some power-ups. For now, there's only 3, each corresponding to a section of the game. A lucky cat in the wooden household zone, where you can get an extra drop or double score. A suction screw that sucks things in the pink urban zone, and a dragon cannon in the green park zone. The cannon allows you to shoot in a direction mid-drop, and it's far weaker than you would think. There's only 15 short levels here, so there's not much to say about the gameplay itself. In fact, after playing the later games, the levels here feel a bit amateurish. Like, the power-ups aren't used properly at all. It seems like it was placed here because it'll be symmetrical and look kind of nice, but in actual gameplay it's near useless. This cannon position does nothing. Power-ups are more decorations than anything else. The physics also feel slightly off. How the cat bounces can feel inconsistent, and the drops themselves go on for a bit longer than they really should. I have to keep in mind, this is the very first game, and these couple issues will be fixed in later entries. But this is all I can really say for the start of the series. Well, there is the plot, which has a surprisingly stable through line for most of the games. Sushi Cat wants a pink plush cat, but he's too light for the automatic doors, so he gets fatter, but the plush gets bought before his bulk is complete. He sees it on the bus, but he's 1 yen short, but there just so happens to be a sumo competition nearby with 1 yen as the prize, and apparently he won the competition off screen. But unfortunately, the bus, and I guess the city's transport minister, has some racist policies in place as spherical cats are not allowed on public transit, so Sushi Cat sulks his way to the local carnival and sees a bunch of pink plushes as prizes for a test of strength. But I guess he has a fast metabolism because he's too light again, so he bulks back up and breaks the scale, taking one of the plushes. So the pink plush is kind of a body pillow, right? Maybe it's a bit early to say this, but you can read the later game's plot like that. The plush is treated like Sushi Cat's lover, and the next game is literally called Honeymoon. Released soon after the first, it's basically a level pack. 3 new sections, 12 new stages, and 3 new power-ups. The ocean area has tongue roll, which makes the cat part frog, as he grabs a line of sushi with his very sticky, very weird tongue. The island area has yarn balls, which proves that the cat could have moved this entire time, and he was just too lazy to. He'll follow your mouse for a bit and will overshoot it by a lot, but it's by far the strongest power-up here. Wasabi Quake is completely useless. It just pushes the cat upwards. It's in the volcano area, and none of the levels are designed well for it. I swear, the majority of the time, it's an active detriment. There really isn't that much different from the first game. I think 2 of the 3 power-ups are better to play with, but the physics are mostly the same, and it's clear the baseline has not changed much. Sometimes the drops can be weirdly frustrating, and some of the sushi in level 9 has got to be actually impossible to get. They were generous enough to give us some quality of life things though. The drops happen a bit faster now, and the cat will slightly shrink if the game thinks you're going to get stuck. The art, of course, is very cute. The cat gets dropped with a pair of big chopsticks. That's adorable. The art style of the series is best described as a very pastel children's picture book. Random things are faces, all the colors are soft, and at least in the early entries. The line work is intentionally loose to give a more laid-back feeling. The story is silly enough to match that feeling. Sushi Cat and his plush just got married and can apparently afford a boat for his wedding. He couldn't pay bus fare an hour ago. Where'd he get the money? Wait, did he just put that banner on a random boat? Well, an explosion happens on board and everyone panics. Sushi Cat saves the day by getting really fat and covering the steam tower thing. That's there to relieve pressure. You're going to make it worse? Oh, it worked. Sushi Cat arrives at the beach and sees a buff but still spherical cat and gets really insecure. He gets huge and comes back to show off, but the volcano starts erupting. He gets even huger, plugs the eruption, and then enjoys his vacation as the buff cat from before seems to take over duties. I guess he's just there forever now. The volcano has a face, you could just ask them to stop. Sometimes you can just be silly. This is what a young kid would think their pet cat gets up to while they're at school. And that continues in Sushi Cat 2. It's the third game in the series, but it's called 2, so let's just consider Honeymoon 1.5. There was a longer gap between releases for this one, and it shows. Everything has been polished up a bit. Most importantly, the physics of the cat just feels a lot better. Levels are designed with power-ups in mind. Levels are also larger. Previously, they were mostly just the exact size of the screen, but since the camera can slide now, they have basically doubled in height. There's also just more of them, 25 total split into 5 sections. The green grocery area has a Steam sale power-up that just straight up allows you to click on the sushi to eat it. Out of all the games, this power is likely the strongest one. The yellow arcade zone adds some pinball flippers to the bottom of the level. A classic gimmick, and certain sushi can only be reached with this. The pink movie zone has soy sauce based improvised explosives. Click on screen and a bomb will be placed, netting you any sushi caught within the blast. The light green temple garden has the Dragon Punch, an improved version of the first game's Dragon Cannon. The cat shoots forward in the pointed direction, but this time he can phase through walls. It's perfect for areas filled with stuff. The blue theme park is the last zone, and the power-up here is Magic Hat. Spin a roulette and randomly get any of the previous 4 power-ups or an extra life. Just like the original Magic Hat, it's quite weak. Doesn't even give you a hat. The levels have greatly improved. They're a lot more fun to play. Every 5th level is a bonus stage, designed to just let you get almost all of the sushi. 3 golden sushis have been added to each stage. Skins are a thing now, and you unlock them by getting the golden sushi. The outfits are all pretty neat. Most are silly, some are just different animals, they're nice to have. The general art style has been smoothed out a bit. Everything has more detail and the line art has been cleaned up, which to be honest, that's more of a side grade. It does look better, but the rough lines before added to the relaxed atmosphere of the game. It still has that cozy vibe. A lot of things that usually don't have faces are staring at you, and while slightly more grounded, the story is still silly in a simple manner. Sushi Cat is at the groceries and Bacon Dog steals the plush from him. Sushi Cat isn't into that, so chases after him, but is too short for the elevator button, so he bulks up in height and continues chasing into the cinema. There's a minimum weight requirement for the movies, so the cat has to bulk some more. I wonder what this spherical pig thinks about the guy whose name is Bacon Dog, or the fact that he's selling tickets to bacon-themed movies. By the time Sushi Cat finishes getting big enough to watch a movie, the doors are closed because no late entries, so he has to bulk even more to break down the door. By the time he does, the movie's over and Bacon Dog is gone. Sushi Cat gets depressed and wanders away, eventually happening upon a koala giving random animals martial arts training and decides to join. He becomes a master in like 25 minutes and finds Bacon Dog with his plush on a Ferris wheel. The wheel malfunctions and his plush is stuck. Sushi Cat solves this, of course, by just bulking even more. He becomes larger than the Ferris wheel and scares the shit out of Bacon Dog. Also, everyone stuck on the wheel just got off by themselves. Sushi Cat got his plush back and Bacon Dog fell into a pile of pink plushes. Now that Sushi Cat is this size, he should have taken the dog's plushes from him. He didn't, but he should have. And that's the end. Until he loses it again in the Great Parade. This is Sushi Cat 2's Honeymoon. There is a slight change in the physics. The cat is a bit bouncier and visibly jiggles a lot more. I think it's better. Besides the jiggle physics, this is purely a level pack. 20 new stages, 4 new power-ups, 4 new sections, and they all have an overarching big parade theme. The blue zone has basic trivia. You get asked who is heavier, and if you're correct, you get an extra life. This is pretty weak. The yellow zone has balloon popping. Balloons rise into the sky, and you click to pop. Any sushi that happens to be behind the balloon just so happens to end up in your mouth afterwards. It's pretty strong if you're good at aim training. Very creative power. The green zone has Wakasumo. Every time you hit a wrestler, a random sushi in the level will be eaten. I know this looks like I suck at this game, but you gotta understand, you have to be way more precise than it looks. It's good for picking up straggler sushi. Lastly, the pink zone has Nancat. Click on screen and Nancat will fly by in a straight line, collecting any sushi. Generically strong, and the levels are designed for it. The power-ups seem to have a carnival game theme: guess the weight, balloon popping, whack-a-mole, and weed cat. The art style has been touched up further. The backgrounds have even more detail, but the biggest difference is how much brighter the game is. The colors aren't as soft as they were, which does make everything pop out, but if the previous games could be described as a nice sleepy vibe, this one is a nice awake vibe. It's still good though, and overall an improvement, especially in the skins department. The plushie skins have good texture on them, and the cotton candy skin is just incredible in every sense of the word. I love it. The story is still just slightly silly. Sushi Cat loses his plush in a crowd, sees what looks like it above him, but he's too small to reach, so he bulks up and turns out it was just some cotton candy. He thinks he sees his plush in a crowd, so he gets tall enough to look over it, and turns out it was just a pink balloon. He sees her atop a building and gets big enough to climb it, and turns out it was just a billboard advertising his plush and him as merch. But from his vantage point, he does eventually find the plush on a parade float with Bacon Dog again, and the engine on the float malfunctions and they bolt away. So Sushi Cat bulks up enough to stop the runaway float with sheer body mass, and he gets his plush back. A bit simpler and relatively grounded. I like the fact that for once, Sushi Cat doesn't seem to shrink anymore in between cutscenes. He gets chunky and stays chunky the entire time. The Great Parade would be the last game before a bit of a soft reboot happens. Catapult or Catapult is the most recent entry, and a lot of stuff has changed. For one, the main programmer, Joey Betts, left Armor Games sometime before it was released, and Jay Armstrong came on to fill his role. And with him, the genre did a switch up as well. It's no longer a physics puzzle game. Sushi Cat does launchers now. If you think about it, it's kind of like sideways pachinko, except not at all. Get catapulted, go the distance, collect the designated amount of sushi, fly away. Buildings are scattered about to slightly slow you down, but the ground has a large variety of bounce pads to help you, and the air has some very elastic birds. The more sushi you eat in a launch, the larger the cat gets, but the limit is hit rather fast, and spikes plus helicopters will shrink you down, helicopters especially. We control ourselves via the Burrito Bison Ground Slam. Click and the cat flies towards the ground at an angle. Power-ups are dotted about and they are significantly more simple than before. We have some progression now and non-spherical animals. Nothing really special, mostly just stat boosts, extra lives and such. It's definitely on the simpler side of launchers. There's not as many systems as some others in the genre, but it's competent for what it gives you. It's as silly as ever, and the aesthetics have really been quite fleshed out. The artist and musician are the same throughout the series, and we visibly/audibly see them improve as the games go on. In terms of art, everything is quite crisp now. Clean lines, clean edges, we have lost the cozy game vibe, but at least it's still quite whimsical. Lots of things that shouldn't have faces or sentience still have them. In terms of music, it's as mind-numbingly laid back as ever, and perfectly fits whatever the cat is doing. The story is brief this time. Cat sees rocket launch, Cat wants to be on it, Cat gets bullied by a bird, Cat kills bird, Cat is prevented from being on rocket because of a racist policy, Cat outspeeds rocket via catapult, Cat eats moon, Cat becomes universe, the end. And that's all of it. These games are simple and silly, and there's nothing wrong with either of those adjectives. A lot of Flash games were like this, and they were loved for it, and Joey Betts was someone quite involved in them. While the art and music were by Jimp and Dave Cohen respectively, the main mind behind Sushi Cat was Joey Betts. He worked for Armor Games for a time, but left in 2013, before the 5th game came out, and he has some other stuff under his belt, notably the Crush the Castle games, which had art done by Con on his studios, but the main programmer was Joey. He still makes video games even after all this time. He's currently working for Obsidian Entertainment. Hey, it's been a while. I'm playing Worms next.